Every other year or so, we make some homemade salami. The process has never been recorded and was also always based on vibes. This year, I wanted to change that. We started out with a lot of pork butts. Not the actual butt, but the shoulder. The fat caps are trimmed off, and then the meat and the fat are both cubed up. We ended up not using any of the extra fat, but this might change next year. The meat and the fat are then thrown in the freezer for a couple hours to chill and firm up. While that's happening, I wanted to try using a flavoring culture. I wasn't sure how much I would need, but I did end up using about 1/2 teaspoon of flavor of Italy starter culture per 1/8 cup of unchlorinated water, with the goal to use about 1/4 cup per 10 pounds of meat. I later then realized that you're supposed to add some extra sugar for this culture to really take effect, so that's future improvement number 1. A bunch of math was involved, and I was able to get certain quantities of each additive per gram of meat. I plan to revisit this at the end because the end product did not have enough spice and was a tad too salty, so this would be future improvement 2 and 3. Grinding the meat was a breeze because the grinder we have is such a workhorse. It's a 1.5 horsepower grinder, and it made quick work of the pork. After the first 10mm grind, each batch was weighed out, additives were calculated, weighed, added, mixed, and then let sit for 30 minutes. After that, the second grind was a slightly finer 6.5mm grind. This also helped incorporate all the seasonings and additives. This leads to improvement number 4. I would like to use a coarser fat and a finer lean meat to get some of those iconic big pockets of fat. After the second grind, we loaded the hopper and stuffed the casings. The casings we're using are collagen casings, which, to be honest, work like a charm, but it does lack the extra flavor that natural casings give to the salami. I'm not counting this as a point off or a point of improvement, because the collagen casings are so convenient compared to the natural ones. But I will say, here's improvement number 5. Using a dedicated sausage stuffer would have worked wonders here, as the auger of the meat grinder tended to emulsify the fats and meats together, and it took quite some time to push out into the casing. One positive is that we virtually had no air pockets because of this. Once the casings were stuffed, we poked them with needles to make sure all the air was out, which leads me to improvement number 6. I need to buy one of those tools that just looks like a bunch of needles on a doorknob. I weighed one of the salamis to use as a control to see when everything would be done. Originally, I thought 30% weight loss would be enough, but seeing how lean these were, I wanted to shoot for between 40 and 50% weight loss. Once the casings were poked, they were hung in a warm area of our basement to ferment, which leads me to improvement number 7. I need to find a way to make this area more humid, as I was using a steamer to introduce moisture, as well as a sous vide machine to warm up some water in the sink to try to create a moist environment. I might try to hang some plastic from the ceiling down to the floor and let a humidifier just do its thing. After 36 hours of fermenting, these salamis look super red. We then pressed them for a day between some wooden boards with weights on top of them to increase the surface area in order to decrease the drying time. After a day of pressing, we hung them in the cooler part of our basement. The ambient temperature was about 60 degrees, but again, the humidity was lacking with only about 30% relative humidity. So every day I'd go down and introduce some extra moisture to the salami. After about 2.5 weeks of hanging, we reached about 46% weight loss. I decided to cut one open to see what it looks like. And it looks pretty good. The outsides were a bit more dry than I expected, but that should be resolved when I revisit the moisture issue. It has a nice lactic acid tang to it, along with the extra spices that we added to it, and the texture in your mouth is perfect. I will say it is lacking a little bit of heat. Next time I do want to explore adding different seasonings, such as black peppercorns, and maybe introduce some more floral heat, like blending up a bunch of Calabrian chilies and adding them to the mix. Here are the improvements for next year. I need to add some sugar for the starter culture to do its thing, add some more spice, less salt. I would like to use a coarser fat with the finer lean meat, which would also mean I have to use a dedicated sausage stuffer. I should also buy one of those sausage pinner tool things, and I really have to learn to control the humidity better. There will be a part 2 to this in about a year, so stick around.